to Café y Chisme. I'm Vicky, and I'm here with
Franco,
Ivan,
and Myra.
Brew your coffee and join us in today's Chisme. Hello and welcome back, everyone. Today we will be discussing the joys and challenges of parenting. In this episode, Franco and I will go through some parenting questions, and with the help of Myra and Ivan, we will get some real-life feedback.
we're excited. Woo!
Nervous,
And
maybe?
scared, I know. Yeah.
So let's start off. Franco?
question 1. Can you guys share a moment with your kids that made you laugh out loud or filled your heart with joy?
Okay. I don't know. There's so many, but they're like little things. Sometimes like they just say the craziest things, and that makes us laugh because we don't know like where they got it from. Or like little nicknames or something. Like Mila will just start calling us Cha-Cha Boom Boom, and I don't know where she got that from. You know? It's so
Okay,
random.
so who's Cha-Cha and who's Boom Boom?
No, I have no
Everybody.
idea. And so she'll be like, "Mommy, what's your name?" And I'll tell her my full name, and she's like, "No, you're Cha-Cha Boom Boom." Or she'll ask me a question, I'll give her the answer, and she'll be like, "Okay, Cha-Cha Boom Boom." I don't know. It's so random. I don't know where she gets it from, but it makes us laugh. Other things are like, they're always watching you. They're always listening to you. I love when like Yvonne's going to work and she's like, "Bye, Daddy. Be careful. Have a good day." Like just little things like that where they know when to use those things because they hear us say it and they really mean it.
How does that make you feel, Ivan? When your little ones
I
say
like
bye?
it. I mean, our kids are like little drunken kids telling the truth. But yeah, it's really what she said. Like whenever I leave to work, I like that they come out and they'll just say goodbye. Mila has been watching The Little Mermaid and she's very aware of the sea witch. So for everything, it's like the sea witch, the sea witch.
Be careful with the sea
Yep.
witch.
I was driving out, a couple of days ago, and she was outside. She was like, "Bye, Daddy. Careful with the sea witch." That was just funny. I thought that was hilarious. And then there's other times we went to IHOP, and there's this little old lady, and she was sitting down in the booth, and she was like Mila acknowledged her, and she was like, what'd she say? She was like, "Look, Mom, small."
She's small.
She's small.
And she was just an old
pointing at
lady.
her.
She was just an old lady, like, you know, like she was short old lady, but they're starting to notice those things. Like
Yeah.
somebody's tall or short. And then with like Christian, so we want them to do good, like academically, obviously, but we really just want them to be kind people. So it makes me so happy to hear like his teachers telling me how sweet he was at school, or like helping kids, avoiding nap time, but helping kids, patting them on their back, like trying to help kids go to sleep while he
That's very
should be
sweet.
sleeping, or like hugging the girls, and like they're very sweet, very affectionate kids. All those things, like, or like I dropped something the other day, I dropped water, and I was like, "Oh man," like frustrated at myself. And Mila's like, "It's okay, Mommy." Like just calm and just like, "It's okay." Like
Very
you know?
compassionate.
Yeah.
And loving.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they don't got bills to worry about.
Yeah, at least not yet.
That's true.
Oh, to be young again.
But they will.
There's a lot of just little moments like that like they just
Yeah, I wouldn't say
threw out
there's
there.
specific ones. It's like a series of
Yeah.
experiences that, you know, things that they do that's like,
Or
that
say
was funny.
Yeah. And they like their little personalities, and that also kind of helps us too, because most of the time you don't know what you're doing. You know, you're trying to figure it out, and they kind of like, they are like a little reflection of you, and you see that, like you see some of their actions, and you're like, we're doing good. Like we're doing good as parents.
Agreed. Let's see. The next question on the list. What aspect of parenting has been more challenging than you initially anticipated?
All parts of it.
All of it, the whole
All of it.
subject.
I mean, there's just no like instruction manual or anything that can prepare you. So it's like you're really learning as you go. I mean, there's not really anything at all. It's and the thing is, you try to make the best decisions as possible as you go, and others will jump in, give you advice, and things that help and things that worked out for them. But yeah,
I always hear people when they just had a newborn say that those first days are just they can be very difficult because you see for the first time this little teeny tiny human being, and you are responsible for their well-being. How was it taking your first child home for the first time? Like, it's like, gotta make sure, keep this alive.
Yeah, like who trusted us to be parents?
Someone trusted us to be parents.
I'm like, even now though, I'm still like, can't believe I'm somebody's mom, just because like, I know like what my mom means to me, and it's so crazy to think that you're that to somebody else, so that to me, like bringing a kid home and then like seeing them evolve into that where they depend on you, they need you. And then you're like, man, now I'm that to somebody else.
That's cool. Can you guys describe a moment, despite all the challenges you faced so far, when you felt a profound sense of accomplishment as a parent?
I think right now it's like living real time and just kind of looking back at everything, the whole journey, even before kids and, up to now. Sometimes I just kind of space out and I'm just observing Myra, I'm observing the kids, and I'm just thinking of everything that we have. And I'm like, wow, this is it. This was the dream. I'm happy about everything.
Yeah. I think they're like good kids. They're happy kids. Yeah. I think just like who they are.
I think your kids, because I've met them personally, they're the best parts of both of you.
Absolutely.
And I like admire those two, like love them to pieces. I find that they bring joy even to like me, my husband, just people. I'm sure people that they just see out and about. I think kids are just so like just so wonderful and innocent and beautiful and just like pure that it's like little things that they just do, just kind of like, they sprinkle that around to everyone.
They're always getting free stuff. Okay. So like we went to Walmart the other day,
from
right?
us.
No, like from strangers. I know that sounds bad, but we went to Walmart.
It's parent supervised.
Yeah. It's parent supervised. So we're like, we tell our kids, don't take candy from strangers. And then we're like, that's fine. They can have it. And Yvonne's like, well, it's because we're with them. And I'm like, well, yeah. But we went to Walmart and Mila kept asking for, there was like a little end cap by the cashier, and she kept asking for these, I don't know, like snake candies. And she kept asking, and we were like loading the stuff, and we're like, okay, Mila, okay. But we weren't going to buy them for her, but we were just like, okay. And then the lady was like, you want those snake candies? And then she was like, yeah. She's like, I promise you're going to get those snake candies.
Oh.
And we were like, and then she told Yvonne to give them to her, to the cashier. And then she asked Christian what he wanted. And Christian picked something out, and she took them to a different register, and she checked out and bought them for them.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's very sweet.
She went around. There was a lady waiting right behind us too. And she took her time, went around, got her little badge out and paid for it herself. I was like, wow, like they love our kids. Our kids are lovable, and they can be a lot sometimes, but they're good kids.
Is it ever hard when you say no to your children on something like, oh, can we buy this? Can we get that? And then someone else just comes around and says yes.
Slime, okay?
I hate slime.
Oops, we're sorry.
Like, no, slime. But in a different perspective, like I got put in that position too. I get put in that position too. And I understand from the parents' perspective, but as the aunts and uncles or grandmas, I get it. Because, my nieces, their mom might tell them no. And then as an aunt, I buy it for them.
Of course.
So it's just this vicious cycle. But
so what you're saying is if they buy a dog for them, you'd be okay.
no, that's a different story.
That's not okay.
That's more responsibility than slime. No.
And more expensive. Oh my goodness.
It's a commitment.
It's a huge commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Which, speaking of, how do you find moments of joy and connection, even on a particularly challenging day? And this could be like connection with each other or just connecting in life.
It's hard. It's hard because by the time that they go to sleep, like we're both tired, like we're exhausted, like just mentally exhausted. So we try to make time where we just watch like mindless TV and like we laugh about it, talk about a show that has like no meaning, but it's just funny.
I do that too.
And that
and
we'll
it helps
have,
you like wind down.
Yeah, it'll help you like wind down, and we'll either have coffee or we'll have like a charcuterie board.
Jersey Shore.
And that, yeah.
Not sponsored.
Yes, that's what we watch and we love it. And like that for us is like we enjoy that. Like,
I think
it's not much, but
you're still prioritizing your significant other, because you hear a lot. It's like, whenever you get married and have babies, the kids are priorities. Yes, but still that doesn't mean that your spouse is yours, that you lose that priority.
They don't go on the back burner.
Exactly. So, and it's hard. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. It's hard, but like, it's just that persistent, like, want to spend time with each other, even if it's senseless, even if you're watching the freaking Jersey Shore, like at 11:30 p.m.
Yeah,
or
like you don't have
whatever.
to do it every day or
Right.
all day or
But just looking something to still have that, because you still need it. Otherwise, you're just going through the motions on parenting. You're going through the motions as a spouse. So it's still important to prioritize yourself with your spouse.
And then my sister, she'll watch them for us every now and then so that we can have a date night or get stuff done around the house or do whatever and just go get a massage.
Shout out to the sister. That's
For real.
huge.
Yes. Like that it's huge. Yeah.
She's
like,
been
she has no idea
awesome, man.
like how much it helps
yeah.
us when she does that.
Yeah.
And so she'll like take him for a few hours or she'll take him overnight. Yeah. Like there's nothing like having help, because even though, yes, we wanted kids and they're ours, but when you have like
The help.
everybody says like, it takes a village, but when you don't have anybody, like it's hard. It's like, it's supposed to be more people like helping you raise these kids. And when you don't have that, it's really, really hard. So
Was there ever a point where you felt like you didn't have that?
oh yeah, definitely. Just because like you want the help, but you don't trust anybody, you know what I mean? And so like you trust them, but then you don't, like you don't know, like your responsibility is to keep them alive. And like it's such a huge responsibility and you're new to it. And so you just think of all the horrible scenarios, but now that they're older and everything, like, and now we have 2 kids, so it's gotten easier, like a lot easier. And now like we welcome the help. We, my mom comes down here, my mom and my dad come down here and they'll like stay for a week. And like we'll watch them too while we go get a massage, or I go run my errands, or
And a lot of it is on her side of the family, like where we get the majority of the help. And like I can't say enough how much like any little bit is huge. And sometimes like I'll see other people who have the help and I'm like, man, I wish we had that. But her side of the family at least contributes with whatever they can. They live further away. But we enjoy our time.
Because we don't have like, where you could just be like, oh, I need to go grocery shopping, or things that you don't, that's hard to go grocery shopping with 2 kids. Like,
yeah,
it's chaos. But sometimes I have to do it. But it's not like I can just be like, I'm going to drop them off at grandma's today, or just so I can go get a haircut, or I can do something for myself, or get these errands done. So a lot of the times it's just, they just come with me. And sometimes it's a lot harder, but if I have to get it done, like I don't want to have to wait till Yvonne gets out of work or on the weekends. Like I want to get these things checked off my list.
How do you feel about raising your kids and what the future holds?
think it's a lot of pressure. You could raise them, and at the end of the day, like with all your values and everything, and good values and everything. But when they become adults, they'll make the decisions for themselves. You can tell them as much as you can, and some of it will stay with them. And then a lot of things, your parents told you not to do, and you probably did them, or so you just got to do like the best you can. They're a reflection of you, but sometimes like they're little, like they have a mind of their own. And like you might tell them not to do this and they still do it. Or, they're developing, so they aren't quite, like they don't quite understand like the tantrums and all that stuff. And a lot of people will judge, like, if you see somebody at the store and their kid's throwing a tantrum, like they don't know that you've already like talked to them, that you've been working with them at home. Like they just see what's there. And if you don't do anything about it, you're going to get judged. If you spank them, you're going to get judged. If you tell them something out loud, you're going to get judged. Like there's always going to be, everybody's going to have a different parenting style, and everybody thinks that there's just the right way or that you didn't do enough or whatever. So it's just really hard because I just think it's a lot of pressure. Like you have to keep somebody alive, you have to make sure they're healthy. You have to make sure there's so many things like they're set for the future. Like there's a lot of things.
You mentioned like onlookers
Mm-hmm.
possibly being judgmental, and it just made me think like, I've seen children, and we all judge, we all think this, that, and the other. I definitely don't express anything because I know I was a kid too, and I would just say, for all of us onlookers, let's just have a little more patience and grace for the parents and the kids, because kids are kids. And again, like what you said is important. I don't know as an onlooker what you've said so far, what happened, how did this tantrum transpire? And so for me to just step in and in a moment, in a split second, and just to assume something, it's like, I have no idea what's really been going on here. So
yeah, we were like that before. Like I remember being like in college, and I'm in the dressing room trying on, and there's a mom and a kid in the next stall or whatever in the next dressing room, and the kid's just throwing a fit and like isn't happy. And I'm like, my kids are never going to do that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
never-
That's the magical phrase.
And
It's like, my kids
so-
are never going to do that.
But then, like, you have kids and your kids do that, even though you already told them not to do it, even though you've gotten on to them, they still.
you had to talk at
still
home.
Yes, you had to talk. You gave them the look, all the things. You've gone through all these things, and they're still going to do what they're going to do sometimes. And one thing, though, that we have learned is that has been really helpful when it comes to that is, we've learned it because we've lived it. And so it's like, not to judge other people, like, and vice versa. Like if our kid is hitting, right, we get judged for it, but then before you know it, now their kid is hitting, or acting out in a different way. And it's like, that's why you shouldn't like talk about other people's kids, because you never know when your kid's going to do the exact same thing or do something else that is like frowned upon, So it's just like everybody develops at a different age, and every kid will have some type of like bad behavior or like make bad decisions or, whatever. And so, I just think like having, whether you have kids or not have kids, yeah, like having more compassion for people, because you never know either though. Like maybe they were just hungry, or maybe they were tired, and that's a thing, like they're tired. And a lot of people too, like that too, it was always like, oh, my kid's tired, that's why they're acting up. And you're just like, okay, like, you judge, but then it's like they really are tired, and you live it, like you experience it, and then now you have compassion for other people.
You hear those stories in like the news and stuff where like someone got upset during a flight where their kid kept crying and crying. It's like, they're kids. Do you really expect a 2-year-old to sit down on a seat the entire flight? Like,
I do.
I mean, we want it to be that way, but
You will be disappointed.
You will be disappointed, sir.
Like even adults can't do that, or like say you're in a meeting at work or whatever, and you have no breaks, and you're just kind of like, you're fidgeting on, you're drawing on your paper, or you're fidgeting, or you're just like yawning, or you're tired, and you start to get restless. So then we expect kids who haven't even developed, that part of their brain yet, and expect them to like sit in a classroom for even 2 hours or 1 hour to focus on something.
Are there any particular challenges you face in maintaining balance between work, personal time, and family?
Every day.
You both nodded your heads.
And it's like, Myra stays at home, watch the kids, right? I go to work. It's like we're both going through different stresses, and they're both valid and they're both legit. And I think it's just both acknowledging that we are doing a lot of work, but it may look different and there are different types of stresses. So, I know that that's one thing we've talked about, how we can kind of come together and, make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause we both have different roles, but we're both still parents. You know what I mean? So
yes.
I would hope so.
Even though one of us works and one of us doesn't, we still have to be mom and dad, but we also are still individuals. We still want our me time. And a lot of that, we have to put it towards the kids, right? But it is really important. You can't fill from an empty cup, So
True.
You really do have to take care of yourself, and you have to make time to eat and take care of yourself, because if you don't, then you're not going to be any good for your kids, or for each other.
Me going to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning is not by choice. Trust me whenever I say that. It's because I go to work throughout the day, right? Come back. I want to spend a little bit of time with the kids before they go to bed. And I still want to spend time with Myra. So, it's definitely hard. And I know she goes on a different side of hers, right? She spends all day with the kids, and I'm sure they're not perfect angels. And I know it's stressful a lot of the times for her, but she's also waiting for me so I can kind of take that load off a little bit for her. And, she can have a little bit of me time. And I know that's just a constant battle every day. And we just try to do the best to make that work.
Do you guys ever feel like you're both burnt out, essentially? Yeah. And it's like, look, we do good tag teaming, but right now we're both losing it. Yeah. What would you suggest? What are your go-tos? What has worked? What doesn't work?
I think we're still figuring that out. Some days we've got it. And I think some days, one of us has a little bit more energy than the other one, or we're like, hey, okay, I'm going to do bath time with the kids. You do homework with the kids, Or Yvonne would be like, okay, I'm going to come home and I'll make dinner tonight or whatever. Right. So even something small, like taking one task away from the other, it's big.
Well, you answered the other 3 questions that were on the list, but that's okay. We'll go to the next one. What's a cherished family tradition or a spontaneous activity that consistently brings joy to your household? I can tell you one, because we've been part of it. It's your annual July 4th party.
Yes.
They are pretty dope.
That is the tradition that I have cherished here, but I'm not you and I'm not your kids.
So it's just a promise that I kept Myra, even before we got married. I am committed to the family, and making holidays such a big deal, birthdays a big deal. And it's just, that's been the tradition. I know our biggest ones, 4th of July, Halloween are big ones, and everybody has a good time here. But we just really try to celebrate any little thing, anything.
Pre-K graduation, first day of school, obviously birthdays are big. Really anything.
Someone's success.
We love to host. We love to be around people. We love having people over at our house. We love that. The more the merrier. And that's what I like, that we both like to do that, because we both look forward to those things, and we do those together because we both want to do them. So I think those are some of our main traditions. Like we know 4th of July and Halloween, we're going to do it big. Like with our friends and family and whoever wants to come.
I could definitely say you guys are very good hosts, and we have the best times here all the time.
Thank you. And we're pretty spontaneous. Like, we're always down for whatever, even if you have kids. Like, if we're not doing anything, like, yes, I might have to pack, the diaper bag or extra snacks, or, we have a picky eater, so I have to pack his whole lunch, when we go out. But like, we look forward to hanging out with our friends or family, and we honestly don't care if somebody invites us and it's an hour away. Like, we'll go. Like, we enjoy it, and like,
distance, time does not matter. If we're free and we want to go, we will go.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the things about having kids. Just because you have kids, like, doesn't mean it's over. It's just, you can still do the things that you want to do. It may be harder, but you should always still do some of those things that you want to do, whether it's traveling, whether it's like, go visiting a friend, or, taking a small trip. Like, you can still do all of those things.
And that's one of the big things is like the expectations.
Yeah.
Like, don't have expectations with the kids because, and it's not going to go that way,
right.
And so it's better just to know that before you go, and know that you can always leave. Like, if the kids are too rowdy, or, they're whatever, just know that you can leave whenever. And then getting them used to it early, like traveling, taking them out to a restaurant, taking them to church, like they will eventually learn how to act in different places and know like what you can and cannot do, at different places. And I think once you get them used to it when they're younger, they'll enjoy it more as they get older. Like, and it'll be easier on you too, because we've gotten our kids used to traveling. We've got them used to going out to eat at restaurants or to the stores, and they know and they enjoy it. Like, they enjoy all those, and it makes it a little bit easier on us because they're excited to go places.
We definitely see that. I would say that when we met you as parents, one of the things that stood out is that you take your kids everywhere, you involve them in everything. Like, the children don't hold you back from living life and being around friends and family and going places, trying out places, doing whatever. And that's definitely something that Franco and I have taken away, that we've always envisioned doing. We just didn't see it in action entirely with, like, you guys are the first couple with 2 kids, I would say, that have been very active out and about. And it's just like, gives us hope, like, this is possible. And I think we, as, we're not parents yet, but we do aspire to be. We really try to be supportive of all of our friends with kids and just, mingle, have fun. And the kids are so much fun to be around.
And we love that because y'all make us feel so comfortable. Like, we feel comfortable at your house. We feel comfortable bringing our kids around you. Like, we know you're not going to judge us. We know, like, you just feel at home. And, like, we see how much y'all care about our kids, and y'all help with them, and, like, they love y'all. So, like, that makes us feel good because...
And we're all spontaneous. Don't cry, Franco.
Our kids feed off of vibes. And I've told you guys this, like, they read vibes. Someone who comes in with a vibe, like, it's not a good one, if you guys notice,
Children
they stay
know.
away from that. And no one told them anything. It's just they read the room, and it's like, and so they are attracted to people that bring positive vibes. And that's you guys. You guys show that loving, nurturing, feeling, you know what I mean? Where they feel warm and they love hanging out with you guys. They love giving you guys big hugs. And
I miss them tonight. I mean, we love hanging out with you guys, but I do miss them.
I know, they never want to leave our house. They're always asking if we can come over, like, all the time.
Always welcome. They have their own room there.
Yes.
Okay, so we have one last question. What's one piece of advice for us as aspiring parents, guys? You probably have, I want to hear all, but...
Okay, always, like, people are always going to give you advice. Like, this is my main thing. People are always going to give you advice. Nobody's parenting is ever going to be like fully the same. You just got to do what's best for your kid because God gave you those kids. And they didn't give them to me. They knew that you needed to be that kid's parent.
I like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the best advice, honestly.
It's beautiful.
And for me, it's live your life. You know, it just goes back to what I talked about earlier. It's like you still do the things that you would want to do. Like you live, you know, each day how you want to live it. And the kids are not a burden. It's just you're adding more people to your wolf pack that it's going to make your life. It's definitely going to make your life. And although it may be harder to pack and all that stuff, like still look to live your life.
I want
how
10.
you envisioned it.
Whoa, we're going to talk about numbers here.
You want a soccer team.
I want a soccer team. Yeah.
And even though like your kids would be on a schedule or maybe not, whatever fits you, you know, and our kids, like they got on their own schedule, but it didn't mean that like they were used to sleeping wherever we were at, you know, in their stroller or whatever. And so we veered off. What do you call it? Veered off the path, right?
Yes, veered off the path.
Veered off the path when it came to like their nap time sometimes or whatever. Like, so we could go out and enjoy life. And it didn't have to be every single day, but we were okay with them like getting a later nap time or we would just bring their food with them if it was going to be during their food time or whatever. So you can still make it work.
I will say Myra has prepared for any possible scenario. Like she has bags ready to
always
go.
Prepared.
Yeah.
She is.
It's like there's a bag for going
Soccer.
out. There's a bag for soccer. There's a bag like in case they get wet. Like
if the world
there's
is,
like-
I'm going with Myra. She's got snacks.
like it does make it easier though, because like you can just pick up that bag and go, and it's like you know that everything's there. So I know I don't give Myra a lot of credit for that, but like she does, man. She is like the anchor and motor of the entire family.
Thank you, babe.
that mom hack.
Yeah, the mom hack, because there are things that we are going to do often, right? Like if we know it's the summer, right? And every now and then, like our friends invite us to go to the pool, like we don't use that every day. So it stays in the bag. It stays in the, like all the beach stuff, all the pool stuff, the beach towels, everything is in the bag. And then that way we're not like scrambling, trying to find everything and like wasting time. Like that way we could just be out the door ready to go.
Yeah. Be
I'm
spontaneous.
just the guy navigating like, and Myra's like the motor, legit. I definitely know I can do a lot more, but it's like by the time I even realize anything, it's already done. I'm like,
He's like, oh, do we bring this? I'm like,
it's already done.
It's already packed.
Like,
It's already ready to go.
Yeah.
Done.
Useless.
No, you're driving the boat, bro.
Driving the boat.
Someone's got to drive.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing the joys and challenges of parenting.
Yes, thank you. Because I don't think everyone is so open and willing to really dive into like their personal experiences and give their feedback.
Yeah. So thank you guys for joining us in this episode. We will see you guys next week.
If you would like to get in touch with the Café y Chisme crew and have them talk about topics you're interested in, reach out via email to cafeychismedfw@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram at cafeychismedfw. Links in the description. Thanks for tuning in.